Okay, so there was some questions on the secondary research paper. So I'm going to put this video probably right down below here. I'm just going to show you how to do a little bit of research. Okay, so the research on a research topic, I don't just suggest this, but I'm telling you, it's not a good idea to just go to Google and search something up. And let me show you why. Let me take one of these topics. I'm going to go with nonverbal communication. Okay, and I'm just going to type in nonverbal communication. Okay, and let's see what comes up with. Okay, so it talks about nonverbal communication skills. It gives some basics. Look at all that good information. Okay, it even has a person who edited it, an author. You can get editorial places. Great. Skills and examples. That's fantastic. Okay, and it talks about nonverbal communication. Okay, it talks about what you should do, avoid slouching. It seems like pretty good information right now. All right. However, looking up Google often just gives you blogs, and you'll notice that that was a blog that we looked at. nonverbalcommunicationhelpguide.org. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. It looks like a decent website, but once again, it's more like a blog, and what blogs do are just people's opinions who just like me or you who, well, more or less just like anybody else who is let's just say some boss out there wants to teach his other bosses how to communicate better, right? So up the chain of command, the top boss, the CEO, wants to tell all of his managers how to communicate better. So they'll create a website and they'll put something up there that's good information, but stuff that they've just thought about. It's not necessarily a scholarly paper. It's not something that somebody actually did research on, and it's just somebody's thoughts. It's just some person's thoughts, okay? And as good as that may be, it's just difficult to see if it's accurate or not. It's difficult to do checks on it. It's difficult for all sorts of things. So that's why we are going to use more of an academic-based research center. So EBSCO, if we click on this link, will take you here to this UEN, Utah Education Network. And I'm just going to click on this first one, Academic Search Premier. It's really good. It talks about Boolean searches. Okay, so Boolean search, if we look up here, Boolean phrases, Boolean means true or false. Okay, so it doesn't have this phrase or not. Okay, or I could click Find All My Search Terms, find any of my search terms. Okay, I'm going to keep it at Boolean phrase, full text, scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. Okay, that's always good because that means it's been reviewed by somebody else, an article that has been reviewed. Okay, a publication, black and white photograph. I'm not going to worry about all of these. Okay, but when I search in nonverbal communication and hit search, all of a sudden, okay, I have 1,377. Okay, so maybe that wasn't the greatest way to search because now I've got all sorts of searching, and Google, let's go back to the Google, has 17 million, not 17,000, 17 million search results. And you're only going to look at the top few, which are going to be advertised and paid to be up there. Okay, so if you look at the Boolean search and you really get good at it, pretty soon you're only going to have 5 or 6 articles that are going to, and this is how you search for something, searching for something that you really want to know. Now, if I just want to know a broad topic of nonverbal communication, 17,000 or 1,377 articles, I could just look through, pick and choose, and then I've got 0 direction, and I'm going to get 0 results, basically. I'm just going to get a bunch of information on nonverbal communication. It might be good, but it's not a direction. I need to have that direction first, and then I need to look towards where I want to go with that. So let's say I have a question about nonverbal communication. I want to find specifically something about, is nonverbal communication better than verbal communication? Okay? Is it truly better, or can we use our words to enhance our nonverbal communication? Or do we use our nonverbal communication to enhance our verbal communication? Okay? I'm looking for something very specific. So instead, let's go back. I'm going to create a new search. Come up here, type in new search, and I'm going to hit advanced search right here. Okay, these ands and ors or nots are very critical terms, so I'm going to say nonverbal communication, and I'm going to search within that article better, benefits maybe, advantages. I'm going to say advantages is the best word. Advantages. Okay, advantages, and I'm going to search. So it's got to have all three of these. So I'm going to say nonverbal communication with the advantage over verbal communication. I'm going to say verbal communication. Okay, so I'm going to get research papers that do a compare and a contrast between the two. Okay, and everything else, it's really okay. I can do scholarly peer reviews that will shorten the results down a lot. Let's say if I don't click that and I hit search, we're going to get 1 out of 10 of 13 total. So the 13 total is great. So there's only 13 articles, okay? And even some of those, sex differences and the ability to recognize nonverbal displays of emotion, probably not what I'm looking for, okay? So let's look at this. Let's type that in. I'm just going to say nonverbal communication. I could say versus, but what was that word that I was using? Advantages. Let's go here. Actually, if I go back and I want to change something, I'm going to say scholarly reviewed. Click on that. References available. I even get less references available. Okay, 1 of 2. Okay. Nonverbal processing of actions is an area, and you don't have to get 2 results because that can be frustrating as well. You want maybe more, so you could change that up a little bit. You just want to narrow that result down to get very specific documents to see what you want. Let's see what I've got here so far. So I'm going to click on the full PDF text. It's going to take me there. All right. And you're going to have to do some reading, okay? This is how research works. You're going to have to learn a little bit, okay? You can't just pull your own ideas out there. You do some research, you learn some more, you pull your ideas in together. That's how research papers and projects work, okay? So the semantic variant, let's just read through now let's say I don't want to read this whole article to see if it's exactly what I want or not, but it looks like a pretty decent article, okay? I'm going to find something, and you've created something similar to this, a research article from your previous assignments, okay? So the purpose, we're going to read this here, I wish that, or a conclusion are things that you want to look for, or a summary, okay? So better performance for actions compared to objects that has been reported in the semantic variant of primary progressive aphasia. This study has investigated the influence of the assessment task, naming, semantic picturing, matching over the objects and actions. Interesting. Anyways, so that's probably not what I'm looking for, to be honest. All right. Effective augmented censorship. Let's take a look at that. With autism spectrum disorder. So this is nonverbal tasks among. So that might actually help me out. Maybe. Okay, learning verbal and nonverbal tasks among children. So let's actually change this. So I'm going to say nonverbal communication advantages, and I'm going to say comparison. So I'm going to type in comparison. Now I'm going to hit search again. Let's see what that brings up. Okay. Sign language and theory of mind, the issue of critical periods and abilities. So talking about sign language and the ability of that. Maybe learning about sign language will help your case, your personal case, on learning the differences between nonverbal communication and verbal communication. Okay. And this is just hopefully an example. The influence of musical experience. Okay, so how music is communication. You can use that in your research paper. Okay. So this whole searching thing is very important. Okay. History Reference Center. Let's go to that one. And I'm guessing that it has something to do with searching about history or historical articles. Okay. Using these advanced searching, I'm going to say nonverbal communication Hit search on this. Okay, now I'm going to get better text. I'm going to get almost like textbook-like answers. I'm not just going to get some guy's opinion who posted it up on Google and then paid Google to, or not paid Google, but went through a company that got their name at the top of the Google search engine. Okay, those are companies. Those are people who are trying to make money. These people are doing it, excuse me, more or less just because they're trying to get that information across. They're researching it. They're putting in lots of time and opinion. They're putting in the statistics, okay? And those types of papers you're not going to be able to find on Google very much, okay? Those types of papers are lost to you unless you use these types. And I would highly suggest Academic Search Premier. That's been my favorite so far. I've done lots of research papers on that. But you go ahead and experiment through some of these, okay? Now, you don't have to use all of them. You can use Google Scholar, and that's just regular Google, but it's Google Scholar. It's not as advanced, and it's not going to help you as much, but it might get you some scholarly articles, okay? Often the reason why Google doesn't just show scholarly articles is because, number one, they're hard to get through for the average person. Usually, why do you use Google? You're sitting around with your family or friends and you want to ask Google, tell me this or tell me that, okay? Google is really meant for the average human being, not the scholar, not the scholastic person, not the person who's trying to do research paper. Okay, that's why we don't want to just use Google. If you have your own academic search place that you know of, yes, you can use that. But I want to see some really good articles that you've pulled from. Okay. Now let's see. MLA format. We're doing some, just as an additional reminder, hopefully by the time you get to the research paper, you've already done some of these assignments. But just as a reminder, you come through here and some of these MLA formatting, preventing plagiarism, all of these assignments right here on the research paper. This is the same thing as that. I'm just, I changed it for the online section. Excuse me. Hopefully you've done all this. It will help you with your secondary research paper. Okay. Anyways, hopefully that answers some questions. If you have any more, just send me an email. Thanks.